series. Just to conclude that, I spent about an hour today just finishing off a few things. I've almost everything researched. I just reached the space age about 10 minutes ago. So we now have a placeholder for any further development that might come along. The space age isn't obviously ready yet. I think I've got about 55 points worth of information age left to research, and 150 of the operative. So I'll just start that while I'm in it. But that'll be it. So I've got 4 things left. Not much, but what I wanted to do here was, and I actually used some of my points just to update my run speed in here, because if I do come back and play some of the other maps, I'll gain all those points back anyway from completing tasks in them, because I can't complete any more in here. There's only one left to do, and that's, oh, did you see that? I actually ran that spawned on top of me, that factory. I think I'm in this one here, so obviously I'll have to delete that again now. Let's see, move a different thing. Oh, this'll do. Just need to get out of there. They were making what? I think they were making whatever this one's making. Wire, okay, so it's making wire. Again, wire being the most, if you're just starting out in this game, or if you're thinking about trying it, wire is the single most used product in the game. And in previous video I'd mentioned that I'd calculated it at about 103 or 4 wire for every microprocessor that you need to feed the server farm, but actually it's actually about 130 coils of wire to make a microprocessor. So it takes a lot of wire. Anyway, this was towards the end. The information age started here, if you like, in the progression of, that's the old factory there, which is feeding, it actually goes right around this whole area, all the way up to those mines there, and incorporating that coal mine. This area is using about 25% of the output of that coal mine, and the other 75 or 60% is feeding the steam power, and this part of the production process. And you'll see I do have lots of these little series of chests and pickers, or inserters. Pickers is just easier to say, because once you reach electric age, obviously they pick and insert, whereas before that they just insert is all they do. But now they pick and insert. So I keep these little chests full of stuff that I might need. Just take some of that copper oil in here, because you always need to be carrying. If you're at the stage where you have quite a bit of stuff built up, and you're trying to develop your factory a bit better, a bit more, you always need to carry copper, and of course this stuff, iron. So I do have pickers here picking off the iron as well. So I've got the same of iron. I have chests full of it, and like I mentioned before, that a chest holds 1,400 of these items. What's that? Fluid tank. I'll just move that down there. Right, and I am carrying processors, 18 of them, and the reason I'm doing that, the reason I'm carrying processors of all things, is because earlier I finally made it to the point of being able to craft nuclear power stations. And these things as well, these are overclocked factories. The production of an overclocked factory is something like, where are we at here? Something there. You need 12 resistors. I think the resistors are, they are. Resistors. Transistors, sorry. You need 12 transistors, and transistors take a lot of copper, and you need one augmented factory. So you're actually better. It takes so long to craft a transistor this way, or actually from raw material it takes maybe a few minutes to craft one of those factories. So I found it easier just to run over there and collect. I've got 5 transistor factories. Just collect the output 4 or 5 times, and you have 20 or 30 transistors in your inventory. And if they're in your inventory, then you don't have to craft them. They're not crafting along the top here, and you can craft the likes of the overclocked factory much quicker, because you've already got the transistors in your inventory. But if you don't have them in your inventory, then you have to craft those, and a transistor takes 10 wire, blah blah blah, all those things that it takes, and they all have to craft along the top there. So there's quite a bit of time involved in crafting a factory, an overclocked factory. And these are actually overclocked conveyors, which I just unlocked there a minute ago. They're quite quick. They're quite good. I'm not really using them for anything because I don't need to. Everything's functioning perfectly well. I did end up having to use that iron factory over there that I built as an excess. I think that's it over there actually, with that direction. Oh, there's there. Because I needed to, when I got to the power station part, the nuclear station, I obviously needed to supply more water, so I had to build pumps all the way around the edge of this lake. So this is all extra stuff here that I built. A few tanks here. I think I'm running quite, yeah, I'm producing more, I'm sucking more water than I'm using, I think, just about. It's could be, that's borderline. I probably could do a few more pumps there, but the thing about it was, the point I was going to make was, I do have electric furnaces, which is great. So the uranium is being mined there. Now that's quite an effective little method there, is just having them coming straight down onto a single conveyor like this, instead of having lots of conveyors, you know, turning corners and stuff and meeting up with one. Just run them straight onto a single one along the front, and likewise along the back, and output the conveyor. And then when I already had crafted these overclocked factories, I had them in my inventory, so when I put them down, that's when I realised that to make a uranium rod you also need iron ingots, and I had no supply of iron ingots coming here at all. But I did have about 30 on me, so I put down a chest and a feeder. So you know, you can drop ingots in there like that, right? I'll not put them all in. I should take some of those back out because I might want them. But once you do that, and this is an overclock inserter, so look at it, it's very fast. It's just very fast. But that's the only way of inserting something into a factory manually, is to put a chest down, fill the chest, and have an inserter insert it to the factory. You can't just click on it and put it in there. You can't just click on the factory and insert. It won't let you do that. That's impossible. So that's one way of doing it, is the chest, fill the chest with the items you want, and have an inserter put it into the factory. But anyway, I was able to craft a lot more conveyors and divert. I was collecting ingots in crates over there, just collecting them because they were being produced and they were just sitting doing nothing. So you might as well use this little technique here, chest and inserter, and collect them at this point I'm using it to put out, but over there I'm using it to collect excess. But once you get that going, then I was able to run that parallel and use 2x1 pickers to get that into to get the iron across. The iron's on the outside conveyor being picked by 2x1s, and then there's 1x1s delivering the rods onto the inside conveyor, and they're travelling all down here. So obviously I don't need those two conveyors there going any further than the end of the factory, so they're stopped short there. And this little conveyor here is delivering everything around to these things, to the nuclear stations. And again, you do need water supply to the nuclear power stations, and you need a lot. But the good thing is each station, if you click on one of these, you'll see, I think I was getting 12,000, I think it was jumping up 12,000 yield for each station. So I've got 20,000 spare electricity there. I've also crafted these here, just forget what they're called, transmission towers, yeah. So I researched that while I was getting this set up here connected. So I have transmission towers. They give you quite a good bit more if you look at the size of a square of a standard utility pole, and then look at the size of the square with a transmission tower. So it's actually giving you four rows wide and 4 rows long, more than a utility pole. Let me see if I have a utility pole. I'll just craft one quickly. You see the way this crafting is happening here. You know, look, even the length of time it takes to make a utility pole from raw materials, because you have to craft all those individual things individually. Now, if I take that utility pole, put it down within, you can see the square of the transmission tower. There's a good 8. Oh, sorry, it's not 4, it's 3 extra. 3 extra on each side. You can see there. But that just fits in. That larger square there is around this transmission tower. So if I put that to the corner, you can see we've got 3 on each side. So you've got quite a good bit more coverage with that. And if you centralize it on top of that pole, you'll find that you're actually getting 2 and 1. So you're getting 2 edges with 1 extra row and 2 edges with 2 extra rows. So there's quite a good bit more coverage with those. Don't really need them at the minute. Don't need to upgrade anything there. Everything's working really nicely now. I have a backlog of uranium here. I have a backlog of uranium chunks. So that's when you feed the uranium into the furnace, you then get uranium chunks. Uranium chunks are going into the factory along with ingots of iron, and they're combining to make uranium rods, and the uranium rods are then fed directly into the stations along with water supply. So that's where I've got to. I've reached the space age finally. I don't have much left to craft. That's the only goal left, is to craft everything. I can't craft this as a placeholder for the space. It says placeholder item for development features, but forget I'm here. So, oh I forgot I have to restart those when I log in. Operative age, I've only got 1 left to do there. I will have 1 left in the information age in a minute or 2, and that'll be everything crafted. So really the game, I've kind of completed the game really when you think about it in that sense. An hour 30 minutes worth of research will finish the game. But this was giving me a bit of a nightmare earlier because I had been using it. Well, there's something finished now, so I can restart the new one and start the. Yeah, so that's the last two items now are being crafted. They're only 50 each. They're going to go up quite quickly. Half an hour finishes that, and then that's it. At which point, the only other thing I can do then is upgrade everything. But, you know, I don't really think I'm going to do that because. But what I did do here was because I'd reached such a. It's hard to explain, but I have a few different banks of chest and picker setups here for collecting wire, just in case the research age or the space age is completed sometime in the future. It means when I log into this map I have got thousands and thousands of coils of wire. Whether or not I need them ever again, I don't know. Each one of them is holding 1400 wire, and that will just continue. So this one picks off the belt, transfers it into that chest, that picker picks out of that chest, moves it into that chest, that picker does the same, and so on, all down the line. And so when this one picks off, then the rest of them just shift that all the way down to the last box, which gives me 6, 8. I've got 8 rows of chests there. The last row is already full there, and because I have 4 columns wide, if you like, the last 2 aren't actually picking because the first 2 are fast enough. But when they fill, then it means these 2 will start working, because this will once these 2 rows are completely full, then there's no danger of that backing up, because these 2 will start then. And that means then that in the future, if I wanted to, well, very close to the map, if the space age comes, I might use this area, or I had a plan to use that valley over there because it looked quite good. But at which point, what I do is, if there was further development and I needed to supply these springs, all these crates full of springs, all I do is I reverse to the direction of all the pickers and extend the conveyor to wherever I want the wires to go. Keep calling them springs, but they're wires, but they do look like springs, kind of, that's why. But what I do is reverse all of those, and then instead of picking off, they will just put them back out onto the conveyor, and then they'll travel on their way. And you'll see I've that done quite a lot of places. I've got a lot of chests sitting around here. I basically just put them down there so I can remember that I never want to use them. They're just full of ore, which, I'm not going to need that. Definitely not going to need that. I do also have this here sitting, so that's full of, yeah, they would be full of ingots, but I think I emptied those all out. They're all emptied, so I've been spitting those out into these factories. Actually, those were, this one factory here was actually coping with it itself, because I have a overclocked inserter on that, and it's just picking, it's not even giving these other 2 a chance to lift anything. I've got, a serious supply of ore there, and actually, that ore, I could greatly upgrade that ore there, because look, if you actually see here, the ore isn't going, it's not getting past. The odd one is passing the second factory, so I've got 4 factories here doing nothing. I could improve that slightly, and I could put that to use right now. Put one of these down here. I think that'll be safe enough there. Craft an ore transmission turrets. Oh, they take quite a long time to craft, so that probably wasn't such a good idea. But you see, there's a transistor in there, so count that transistor in. You have to craft 10 10 wire to make that transistor, and actually one of those needs 5 transistors. So you have that, this at the top of the screen has to do that 5 times before you get your transmission tower. So they're quite slow. You're nearly better having a bunch of transistors in your inventory because it takes so long to craft. Compared to anything else, like you can make a vacuum tube, 1 wire, 1 cog equals 1 vacuum tube. That's what's happening there. But I do need to make a couple of those. Now I don't think there's another. I think if you go into the world before you load the map in, you can open chests, open like gift type chests, and you'll be rewarded with some rare or exotic item, and you might be able to get an overclocked mine in there. I'm not sure, overclocked extractor, but really, you know, there's so much resources about, you don't really need to do that. I just used my 150 points to upgrade my walk speed and my inventory slots with the last 50 that I had left. The jump that came from Rick TNT, whenever he was in this world with me, he opted to use jump, and that allowed me to get it. So if he had been in when I used this, he would have got that as well, but he wasn't. So anyway, that area down there is just producing, it's really just producing wires and stocking them up and producing iron ingots. Or is it? No, the iron ingots are coming from somewhere else, aren't they? I'm collecting rock here, so I have a chest here full of stone in case I need to make stone. So I've got 1400 stone in there. We just go and collect that any time. Or I also have a picking system there. I can pick it out onto a conveyor. But I had a plan there I was going to do, but I forget what it was. Oh yeah, I was going to supply some more ore here. Don't really need to do that because it really, you know, the game's not going to change now. The only thing I can do is upgrade stuff. Coal, as you can see, I've got an endless supply of coal going to these steam engines here, which I no longer need, but because I have this energy now, I have nuclear energy, but because they're supplying at least 35% of my power at the minute, well, I was not, maybe only 25 actually, because I've got so many wind farms over there. 25% of my power they're probably producing. I'm not going to bother getting rid of that, I'll just let that stay. My computer couldn't handle much more than what it's doing at the minute. And you see, this is still crafting, and I still don't have, oh I do have, I've got one transmission tower. So, and that over there, as you can see, that's probably, oh it is, there's enough for those furnaces. Still using the old-fashioned furnace there, but what I'll do here is I'll just stick one of these down. I don't need it too far, that'll do. That means I can seriously build quite a lot of these now. I can build a few of those. I've got 2 here, rotate those around. This is just a simple way to do this. Just bring that out. I put that in as much material as possible. Got 3 more here, and I'll just put that right over there. Right. The only thing I don't have is conveyors. I've only 1 conveyor. I could craft overclock, but for this purpose now, I'm not going to bother. The overclock conveyor is, oh that's an up or something I'm using there. Just get rid of that. What's that? Left, standard conveyors, conveyor, overclock conveyor. I want to take it into line with that, so basically about there. what did I do with that? Was that a right? I want a right turn. Left. I don't have any right, so it doesn't matter then. This is good enough way. And I found this is just as useful a way as building. It's a quick way to build a conveyor system because you can take it down, around, if you want, but I think this is just much simpler. Is that all I got out of that? I need about 25 or 30 of these, I think, just to get this. But they come thick and fast. At that level, just standard conveyors, they craft very quickly. So if I just bring them all down to there. Oh, got a habit of doing that. Right, rotate that around there. So that's going to more than double my supply of ore to these. You can really see that I'm getting quite a lot of ore there. Now in this case, actually, if you're having to go 6 or 7, then it is better to just take 2 that way. Actually I might just do that. Get rid of that on that. And even that, see, rotate that way. Take those 2, that saves me 1. If it's offset by 2, it's not going to save you anything, but if it's offset by any more than that, then obviously it will save you some conveyors. See that? So that saved me quite a few conveyors there. What I'll do there is, I know what will be coming out of there, so stick down another one of those. Where are they? Those there. Put those conveyors back here. This should craft quite quickly. Now the only problem is, now that I've done this, I've got 4 or 5 extra, basically 6 extra mines going there. But what you will notice is now all of these are working except for the last one. There it goes now, so it's going now. I could craft one more, I do have one more of them actually, so I'll just rotate that and stick that in position. And that'll also go. So that's severely improved this. And what I can do here is, yeah, they were feeding back. So maybe what I would do in a situation like that, where I can see I've got a backlog, and these are backing up, I think. And it's actually just about right. It's just about going at the right speed there. It's not getting any worse than here. It's not getting any better than there, so it's probably just balanced. It's balanced enough, I think. So that area, literally, you can see what it's doing. It's making ingots here. Iron is just coming straight out there, down that, into those 4 furnaces and going out there now. I do have, if this was getting quite backed up actually. I actually think it's just about going about the right speed. If it's backed up to there and these are still working, saying that one there has stopped working, so what I can do there is just delete those. We lose a couple of ingots here, but the thing about it is if I craft a splitter here, just a basic splitter, put it in there, so. That will reduce this a little bit. but what it means is, I mean, it'll reduce this backlog a bit, but it still should be enough to keep things going nicely. Yeah, it just means that these can pick off now, these can actually collect some stuff. For some reason I'm not getting any. Well, they've got power, but I think I've reversed those. That's full. Yeah, that needs to be turned around like that. No? Why is that not picking it? Oh, this must be full then. That's full. That's what's wrong. Even though it's green, it is full, so that's a wee glitch just to look for. Sometimes things are full, even though it shows you they're empty. This one's the same. Take that out, you'll see that's still full as well. I think that one's full too, yeah. Oh, research every item. So there you are, I've completed everything now. There's nothing left to do. Achievement, research every item, unlock 50 tunium. Yeah, so that's that. That's the end of that. That's as far as you can take the game, except you can, if your RAM can handle it, you can go on and conquer the rest of all that empty land there and all those other mines if you like, but there's nothing to use your resources on, so that's it. So there we are. Manufactory completed. Took me about a few hours a day for a week or so, maybe a week and a half. But very, very, very good. Enjoyed it a lot. There's a lot of real good mind work had to put into that to get to this stage. You can see there's various phases. That's excess down there. That whole production line is literally just feeding those uranium mines. This is excess here, this is completely stopped. These are full, pretty sure, yeah. So it could build up, you know, a bank of these, picker and chest thing. And you can do that for as far as you want, as long as you've got power going to your pickers. And then here, you can see the little things floating about all over the place. That's because it just hasn't rendered in yet. Because there's so much there. Valves or vacuum tubes, you can see here. They're coming thick and fast as well. But transistors, that's possibly the slowest, hardest part to get to, is to be able to make enough transistors to research things. So that's what you're aiming towards. You're aiming towards as much wire as possible, because everything else doesn't take much. Wire is you need 10 times more wire than anything else, and that's simply because it takes 10 coils of wire minimum to produce a transistor, and it takes 10 transistors to produce a microprocessor like that. So that's just the best advice I can give you, is make plenty of wire. Try not to jump about too much whenever you're loading in buildings. You can see, I mean, there's an endless amount of material here. And the original iron mine is this one over here. So this was the very first, this is the first source of iron here. If I could even get on it. 4 little mines there, iron ore, and look, it is almost depleted right enough. But I mean, that has been producing since I started to play this map. There's one there, is just about a couple of wee ores left, and it's gone then. But this is the main, this area was just making gears. That was the main focus of that part, making gears. And that's the only area that is making gears, just those couple of wee factories there. And that one coal mine has sustained this whole thing as well. even though there are several extractors on it. You can see, you know, you're never going to run out of stuff. You'll never run out of raw materials in this map, unless you're, you know, unless it's you're playing it non-stop for a year or something like that. But again, I can't emphasize it enough that that entire working area there is what it takes to make one factory producing microprocessors. So it takes all of that to sustain one factory. The rest of it's quite easy after that. Once you get to the server farm, the next level is quite simple, because you've already got the hard work done here at the beginning. So I hope that was useful. That'll be the last MANUFACTORY video. I'll just get on with other things now.